Hey, everybody. Adam Savage in my... Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Adam Savage in my cave with a poker build. I love poker. I'm not great at it. I don't play it often enough, but I played a lot in my life, specifically Texas Hold'em with some friends. I'm a very aggressive player. I like moving the game along, but yeah, I'm not an amazing player. But with everything, with every hobby or skill that one could acquire, broadly, there are two halves of every skill that one could acquire. There's a philosophical half and there's a gear half, right? So you can be a stonemason and study the human form, but also know how to sharpen your tools, right? Philosophy and gear. And Tom Sachs gave me this marvelous way of lensing. And so poker, I find super compelling because of its gear. The 14.5 gram chips, the ceramic, the click, click, tack, tack, the ways in which stuff is gathered together, I really appreciate it. And I love the discreetness of a poker game, right? Bring out your chips, bring out your stuff, have an amazing time, put it all back together, right? So to me, I get a toolkit out of it as well, which is awesome. And I have done some poker builds in the past. At least one about the Rounders chips, of which I managed years ago to find the company that made the chips for Rounders. I managed to get a full set of, I think, 1,200 chips in the Rounders correct outer perimeter before that mold was retired. And I really loved the Rounders chips because the moment I had them, I started to wonder how would they be carried around. And that's what I ended up making. And we'll include a link to that video in the description, but I made Teddy KGB's travel set of poker chips in case the Russian mob was in town and wanted to do a home game at the embassy or something like that. Okay, so a few weeks ago, I am looking through an inspiration folder of like stuff that I thought about a while back that I might want to go back to. And I remembered that I really liked the poker chips. I really liked the plaques, the poker plaques from Casino Royale. Full admission up front, Casino Royale's poker scene is hilariously ludicrous. It does not really have anything to do with poker. And I've had a professional poker player tell me that Rounders is a bad poker movie. Listen, Rounders may have its limitations in how it lays out what is important in Texas Hold'em, but Rounders is a bloody Nobel Prize compared to Casino Royale. Despite all that, I love Casino Royale, and it's my favorite Bond movie of all Bond movies. It's spectacular, and I love the dumb poker in that film, and I love the chips. So, Cardamundi, famous chip maker, they made all the chips and plaques custom for the movie. Those get very expensive. I found a much less expensive alternative. So I bought a bunch of chips and plaques, and I thought to myself, once I had them, they're very heavy. And then I thought, how would, so that in Casino Royale, the casino of Casino Royale is in the country Montenegro. I found myself wondering, in this casino where you have 10 high rollers from around the world. At one point, there's $115 million in the pot, which is I think something like an order of magnitude more than the most expensive poker game ever. So it's ludicrous. But let's imagine, I thought to myself, let's imagine this casino. And you're the casino in Montenegro. You're going to be hosting this game of super high rollers. You're going to break out your best stuff. It's going to be discreet. So I thought, what about like a hardened bank type case? What you call a heavy hard currency carrier. And then I bought this anvil case, which I liked, and I'm going to modify it, put some locks on it and stuff like that. And then to be fair, I put this together here, and then I took it to the house to look at it, and then I brought it back, and I almost pulled my shoulder lifting it. It needs a stand, a rolling stand. And my idea with this now is that this would be a box that the chips might have traveled in. But here they are at the casino. They're on a rolling stand. They move from high stakes game to high stakes game. So I bought a stainless steel kitchen rolling stand, and I've been making some custom chip racks on my bamboo printers, and we are going to also end up doing some outside labeling of this to put it more in world of Montenegro and the casino and maybe some tamper-proof seals and things like that. Those are all my thoughts right now. We're going to put it together. I'm not sure I'm going to finish it today. I think there still might be some more racks to do, but we'll get a fair bit down the road. Included 2 extras. How sweet. All right, so. So right now, I know that it's going to live on this table. I don't necessarily want to screw it to the table. So I'm going to use some acrylic, and I'm going to rivet it to the bottom of this. And then that will be what it sits on. And then I'm going to make some registration pieces out of acrylic and VHB them down to this. You see what I'm doing? Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm going to cut this. Excellent. That's what I want. So now. Sorry about that. Yeah, so what I've been doing here is adding these 4 registrations. I made marks that showed me where they go. I gave them a little bit of extra leg room, and now they fit this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the VHB, very high bond, on the back of this, and then stick it down, and hopefully that'll get me to the exact persuasion that I want. Let's see here. Whoa! Sorry about that. This is front. Now that's starting to feel like a good bank strong box. Now I have also picked up some vintage postage labels. I have picked up some, there's some really fun stuff on eBay if you go looking. I found some really old airline luggage stickers, and I thought I would choose one of these to potentially Dolphin Airways. Yeah. Braniff, remember Braniff? Hello, the 80s. Texas International. In addition, I've picked up some Montenegro flags because I thought one of those would go on here. Here's a bunch of them. But the very next thing that happens is I think this thing, so the amount of chips that I have in here is a large number. Let's see here. Just shy of $65 million in chips, which is less than is on the table in the movie, but I don't care. That all fits into this, so I'm delighted. But if I was going to be moving one of these around my casino, I want more than that. And so I was thinking, you know what? If I was going to be locking this thing, it would be with a couple of hasps, right? So I might do it on either side of, maybe either side of this thing right there, like a couple of big fat hasps. I'll show you what I found. So I found some hasps that look like you could put them on a boat. That is a very boat-looking bit of hardware, except for when you turn it around and you realize it's like chromed zinc pot metal. That's fine for me. That's precisely what I need here. So that's going to do that. And then the locks I found. Good ones. Top security. There we go. And I thought I might put a plate on there that was like Montenegro police or something like that. Anyway, so these are going to be the locks. They go like there and there. You see what I'm saying? That's going to look pretty good. All right. But first, we're going to put in the hasps. And then we'll put on the locks. Actually, that's it. It's there. It hangs right there. Do these, in fact, go through these hasps? Can it? Excellent. It goes through. Okay, so there we go. Jesus, that was harder than it should have been. That looks the part. Great. Let's do the other one. There we go. I like it. That feels nice. That feels like a secure item, doesn't it? Yeah. All right. Okay, let's clean up and figure out what's next. I wanted everything to fit inside that container. And the standard poker chip rack holds 100 chips, 5 stacks of 20. I could not fit enough of those into my case. And so we designed, tiny little bit of, hold on. Tiny little metal shaving. Anyway, Alexander, my new shop assistant, is pretty good with CAD, and so he designed me up a poker chip rack that holds 205 chips. Yeah, 5 stacks of 35. And that holds exactly as many as I wanted. It's a little more than 1,000. But these are boring. So I was thinking of a different shape. Maybe a shape like this, a little fancier. Oh, but what's this? What's this? This might be. What? Casino Royale? Yes, let's try this out. This is experimenting with our 2-color printing here on our oh, we got to do this facing down. That's the trick on our bamboo H2Ds. But let me see how these hold the chips first of all. I really like those. I think those are pretty. I think those are quite nice. And I think that once it has that there on both sides glued in, that's a nice little feature there. Dude, right? Right? That's looking like something. I recognize in this, I'm solving a problem no one had for a thing no one needs. But I love, there's like recreational prop mastering or production design. That's what it is like, I get to think about the big pictures of the movie and I get to figure out how this piece fits within them. And there's no stakes because it's not a real movie. Now, I think I have this problem relatively solved of what the chip racks should look like. I may make some small modifications to them. For the most part, I'm quite happy with that. But there are other chip racks to consider. The plaques! The plaques. How do the plaques hang, I ask you? All right, we're going to leave that over here. I'm going to bring over all the plaques. Okay. Oh, wait. Bingo. 1, 2. This is exciting. 3, 4. I remember that I had bought a bunch of these, but I couldn't remember where. I bought a bunch of handles on eBay recently. I sometimes search for something I like lot, and I picked up a bunch of these. These are fabulous drawer pulls. I really like them because they're super generic, but they are solid and they are what they are. So what I'm gonna actually do is I'm gonna make a set of trays that hold these like this. And on either side of the tray will be one of these handles. And that's how they'll lift out and that's how they'll stack. That's the goal. We will see if I can get there. In the interest of making them black, I'm gonna make them out of rich light. But that's gonna take some measurement and give me a few minutes to figure out how these biggies are. All right, I've got my rich light blocks that are each going to become one of the trays for my plaques, my plastic. They may end up getting a little shorter, but we will see. Yes, yeah, I feel like we could even go a little more like that. They're all the same height. Okay, so I'm gonna cut them all down to that. Okay, so we're gonna do this all from the center. Is that what we're gonna do? We are. But first, okay, I'm going to cut some angles into these, call them plaque beds. That's what they are. I'm going to cut some angles into them. So I've set my table saw at 65 degrees. I'm going to cut them all to match that. I'm going to set up a stop so that it's very easy for me to see where to stop. Stop. Let's just do one test. Let's see if we like. Oh, right. How deep is it? How deep is your love? We're going to do it in the other orientation because I'll have more adjustability in that second orientation. With this one, I'd have to figure out an order of operations to countersink up from the bottom, and this way I don't have to worry about that. I can just loosen my stop here. I think I went through too much trouble with these. I think I need to remake these and make them 3D printed. I think that's going to be the real trick here. But we shall see. Let's try putting it all together for an interim test. That's what we're going to do here. So if this is go. Plaques. Plaques and plaques. I love it. That's really great. We have one extra plaque here because I made it wrong. All the parts of this build so far. And I think I know how I want to go with these guys. And I think I know how I want to go with those guys. So excellent. I'm really happy with how this is all coming out. I think the case looks good. I think it looks its part. I think I've got some aestheticizing to do, and this is a real specific case for me in which 3D printing is a spectacular addition to my process. And that's really rewarding because the parts that I can make with 3D printing just look like manufactured parts now. It didn't used to be that way. So I'm really pleased with how this is going. I think the next time you see this, I'll have all of the correct chip racks printed, and we'll do a final pass of aestheticizing this whole thing. Yeah, we'll do a final pass of aestheticizing. I have one weird idea, which you just saw me thinking about, and I'm not sure I'm going to do it. But yeah, dude, this is really looking like, it is definitely looking like some kind of heavy banker's kind of armored box. Again, solving problems no one asked me to solve. That's the joy. There you go. Come on. That's it. Oh, yeah. Love it. We're almost there with the with my poker chips. This is now the official holder. These holders all stack on top of each other for the plaques. They're great. They're all individually sized. That's fine. And I only need 5, but I got 6 poker racks. And the whole world over, this is a poker chip rack. These are made in all sorts of different places. This is Chipco International. I found these made in China, made in Taiwan. They all look like this, which is fine. They are workaday, usable things. But in the world of like high finance, there's customization. And so I went and thought about how would the casino customize and brand their stuff. I mean, honestly, if you've got 6 high rollers and $60 million sitting on the table, I feel like you would brand your stuff. So here's what I have done to that end. So one of the things about 3D printing where it falls apart a little bit is, actually that's 2 different filaments. So one of the things about 3D printing is when you wanted to replicate a product, sometimes the aspect of where products really sell themselves is what can be difficult for 3D printing. Like little raised lettering on stuff, which is all over our plastic products, but hard to do at a high resolution on 3D printing. However, there is a process of doing multicolor printing where you are using 2 different filaments and switching back and forth between them. So I had my shop assistant, Alex, fire up our 2-color printer and print the Casino Royale logo on a smooth plate. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is, yeah. And I don't know about you, but that kind of looks just crappy enough to feel really authentic. And so we've made this little receiver here. Doop. There we go, Casino Royale. And ooh, look, these are weirdly, they take a long time to print, and I'm like 95% happy with them. They're good enough to finish this video. I will keep on iterating and see about what to do, but like I'm almost there. So I'm gonna put these on 5 of these chip racks. Oh, and also on the plaque racks. Plaque racks, and one more. Okay, in researching things that hold cards and chips, et cetera, I found these mid-century chem playing card holders. Some of them are ABS plastic and some of them are Bakelite. This one's ABS. I have a Bakelite one. But I really like these holders, so you can guess where this is going. We made a couple. Made this one and made this one. And these are both hold playing cards, so it goes in there perfectly. Dude, I mean. It is so funny how turned around I am on the utility of 3D printing into my practice. Someone asked me like just last week, like, would you ever build anything from scratch again? And I'm like, I spent my whole life building everything from scratch. Of course I would do it again. Anyway, time to attach some logos. Maybe we'll use hot glue for that. Yeah, we're going to use hot glue for that so I can undo them. Okay, I have my racks and my chips, and here is how the labels look inside. Look at that. Dude, I am so happy with this. Hang on, we're just going to, we're going to dress these up. Okay. Oh. There it is, $30 million. Oh, great! The objects have been assembled. There we go. Kilograms. Each one is almost 3 kilograms. Each one of these is almost 3 kilograms. That's 210 chips. So that is 15 kilograms for just these. Hold on. Here we go. We're going to get this going. Oh, no, that's more than it can handle. All right, yeah, there we go. Okay, so 15 kilograms for those chips, and then for these guys, 1 kilogram, that's 16. 1.4, 17 and a half. 1.7, let's say 19 kilograms all told. 19 kilos, dude. And that's not even the box and the lock, so you understand why I had to put it on the rolling cart. Okay, I think it's time to do the final aestheticizing on the box. Yeah, I think that's what's about to happen. Oh, whoops. All right, I feel like it's the moment of truth. Bring in the $100 chips, the $500,000 chips, sorry, the $5,000 chips. Nicely fit. That's almost 1,100 chips in there. We put the plaques. Wait a minute. What? The big plaque is just slightly too big. Hold on just a second. Is that really the case? Okay. We let mission creep and oh my God, it is like 75,000. Okay, we'll remake this. It is the strangest exercise. I'm like a freelance production designer solving problems that no one had in the beginning. But like, that's how all my plays started anyway. Like watching movies and wondering, well, how did that get from there to there? Who makes those things? Poke chips, hate. So that one that's too big has been redrawn. So it is 200 thou thinner, and that'll get it to fit inside. So I just need to glue on a couple more labels, and then we're done. Well, you know, I gotta pack it all in so you can see and all that, and then pack it in. There it is. There it is. Let's do the other one here. Boop, boop. Test fit. Very happy. Look, there's within the poker card and magic space, there are a lot of custom cards. There are a lot of custom chips. And this is great. I love that. I like fetishizing things. But there's not enough custom carriers for all that stuff. So I'm not saying my carriers are amazing, because they're not. They're just fine. They're workaday. But they, yeah. All right, so we're going to swap out the handles here. Oh, nope, not that one. Retiring.
James, would you please go and retrieve $30 more million in chips? Thank you. Right away, boss.
Let's load it up. Well, I realize I have to aesthetize the inside of the lid, which I will do. And then we'll get everything packed back in here with a nice shot of it packing in. But I have an idea about what I'm going to do. Hang on. It involves taking this and doing a sort of a tufted thing. So I'm going to get my upholstery tags. All right, here we go. Try that. All right, here's how this whole thing goes. I've never done a tufted thing before. Let's do one in the center. Okay, let's great. Oh. There we go. Oh, shite. Did you really mess up there for me? Hang on. I think I can hide this crime. There we go. Okay. All right. Uh-huh. Another air tool, an Air T50 stapler. Yeah, totally. Very, yeah. Okay, so let's see. I want to do a light tack on there. But. Okay. That'll be one of these moments. Yes. That's the better looking half anyway. Yep. Okay, so now we're going to load it up. $100 chips. Go. So pretty. These are $1 million chips. Oh, wait, right. This got to go back. Boy, that is tight. $1 million chips. The $500,000 chips. Plaques. Sorry, plaques. Fits in there. Nice. Oh, wait. Here's one missing. There it is. And there's that. Plus our amazing playing card holder, which holds 2 decks of the Casino Royale Cardamundi cards. So we're going to put that there. And the dealer chip, whoop, like that. Close. And I love this. I'm really happy with it. Tamper-proof seal, Montenegro flag, Casino Royale, all the dressing, the fat locks. This feels like it could come out of the movie. So what we need, obviously this means I got to throw a tournament. I don't know if I'm going to throw a tournament, but you know, a tournament is exactly what to do with a set of chips like this. Winner takes all. You know, everyone buys in for $100 and, you know, if it's 10 people, someone leaves with $5,000 or, you know, after the rake. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased. This is really fun. It's a really fun set. Yeah, it'd be really fun to have a tournament with these. The chips themselves, all of the clay chips and the plaques came from Apache chips. They are not, the chips themselves are very good replicas of the Cardamundi chips. The plaques are excellent replicas. Both of them are excellent replicas. The plaques have a couple of things that aren't as clear on the Apache chips that are on the Cardamundi chips, but given that the Cardamundi chips do not exist in any kind of reasonable form, I appreciate Apache for making these sets of plaques and chips. They look good, they feel good, they sound good. So yeah, Apache chips. We'll include a link to them in the description so you can go buy your own if you like. Okay, thanks everyone for joining me. I'll see you next time. Cheers.
You liking the props, huh? There's a whole nother playlist.